Hi, it's David here from HORAGE. Today we're going to be talking all about the Supersede Date, a little bit of background information about the watch, some technical specifications, and of course how to get it set up to have the time being told accurately so that when you're wearing it, well, you're not late or miss your train. So let's get into it. Here we have one of our Supersede Dates. This watch is available with two different dial colours. There's the black dial, as you can see in this video. It's also available in a C-Note blue, a sunburst bright blue colourway. You can check both of those out on our website, horage.com. You can see the two different dial colours. In the case of this watch, this has been fitted to one of our optional rubber straps. The watches are delivered on a bracelet, that bracelet either being in a brushed finish or a polished finish. They both feature our 10mm adjustable HMAC clasp, which of course means that when you're wearing it, if your wrist swells or shrinks a little due to the weather conditions, you can make adjustments on the fly without worry to keep your watch comfortable on your wrist. These comfortable FKM rubber straps are available in many colours as an option. Let's go through some of the features of the watch. Diameter is 39.5mm. Thickness 9.9mm. The material 904L stainless steel. The bracelet is also 904L stainless steel. If you're fitted to the rubber strap, this is made of an FKM fluoroelastomer, very flexible, doesn't tear, super durable for wear. The clasp is also 904L stainless steel, as is the crown and the bezel. The Date watch is one of the simplest models within the Supersede range. It has time, it has date. Maybe that's the clue in the name. You also do in this model have a unidirectional dive bezel. This allows for the bezel to be turned in an anti-clockwise direction in order to, well, time when you go scuba diving. That is, of course, if you do go scuba diving. Most watches that have diving capabilities, let's say they're not maybe used to their full potential, but that's the wonderful world of watches for you. The bezel, simple to rotate. Use your fingers and rotate in an anti-clockwise direction. You'll notice if you try to turn it clockwise, it does not move. Why is that, many of you may ask? Well, it's of course when you're diving and you set it to the minute time, so you know how many minutes of air you've got. If you accidentally bump it, you don't want it to suddenly tell you you've got more air than you think. By being unidirectional, it can only ever reduce in time if accidentally moved. It's a little safety feature from the olden days of diving before we had dive computers. Let's realign the bezel to 12 o'clock to placate my OCD. We're back to 12, David's happy again. In terms of the watch specification, you also have 200 metres of water resistance. It's a screw down crown to ensure this. It's fitted with our K2 Micro-Rotor calibre, 72 hours of power reserve, a full silicon escapement to ensure great anti-magnetic properties, and that Micro-Rotor, it definitely makes for a watch that's extremely pretty to look at through the case back. The Micro-Rotor on these watches could be one of two materials. It could be gold-plated tungsten or the optional platinum Micro-Rotor. It's in a silvery platinum colour. Let's move on to show how to set up the time and the date in this watch. All adjustments on the watch are made via the crown. As I mentioned, it's a screw-down crown, so before we do anything, we have to unscrew or unlock the crown. This is done by turning the crown in an anti-clockwise direction or in a downwards motion. Usually 4 or 5 turns is enough to unlock it. You'll feel a little click as it comes off the end of the threaded sleeve. We're now in position 0, or the neutral position. In this position, you can also manually wind the watch to add power to the mainspring. This watch in question is already running, but possibly if it's been in your watch box or if it hasn't been worn for a while, you might need to add some power before we can set up the time. To do so, whilst in position 0, gently turning the crown in a clockwise or upwards direction, you start to wind up the mainspring. Generally speaking, we would advise between 1/3 and 50% of mainspring wind is a good place to be to start making the adjustments. Once wearing the watch, the Micro-Rotor automatic calibre will do all the rest of the work for you. So now we've got some wind in the mainspring. We can see the watch is running, as is indicated by the second hand smoothly turning in a clockwise direction. Let's move to setting up the time. To do so, we're going to have a reference time. In my case, I'm using an app on my phone. You can use your computer or any other source of accurate time telling. As long as you have hours, minutes and seconds, all should be good. The first thing we have to do is ensure that we stop the second hand at 12 o'clock so that we have an accurate reference datum point for the seconds. To do so, when the second hand gets to 12, we're going to pull the crown out to position 2. That is fully out. We stop then the seconds hand at 12 o'clock. As we come up to 12, let's do that. We've pulled the crown to position 2, and we've now stopped the seconds hand at exactly 12. That's our first reference point set. We now can see the time indication on this watch is around 17 minutes past 10. But is it 10 AM or is it 10 PM? We have to determine that. So let's check out whether we're at PM or AM. The easiest way to check is by turning the hands clockwise round the dial, because as the hour hand passes midnight, the date will change. Then we have that reference. So we're now coming up to 12. If the date changes at this point, it did not. We know that this is now 12 midday. So one full rotation round the dial again should get us to midnight, and we'll watch the date change. And there we saw the date change, so we know we've just passed midnight. Time-wise, we are at 10 AM, 47 minutes and 15 seconds. So we're going to set the time on the watch to 10:48, and then we can start the timing accurately as it passes over 0 seconds. So let's come round past midnight. We now pass 6 AM. We come round to 9 AM. We're now at 10 AM, and let's bring it to 48. So we're now at 45, 6, 7, 8. So now I've set this to 10:48 AM and 0 seconds. As we count down to 0 seconds, we're going to push the crown fully home at that point and be accurate. We're now in alignment, 10:48, we're coming up to 5 seconds, we know that we're accurate. The next thing to do, of course, is set the date. This watch is currently showing the 20th, but as we can see from our reference, it's actually the 21st. We make the adjustments here by using the crown. We pull the crown to position 1. Whilst in position 1, the timekeeping element of the watch continues to run, so we don't need to worry about upsetting that. So carefully, we pull the crown to position 1. We're now in position 1. This is where we can make adjustments to the date. By turning the crown in an anti-clockwise or downwards direction, we can make adjustments to the date. One turn, we're now on the 21st, we're now aligned with the 21st. Also for reference, this watch has a jumping hour hand. By turning the crown in an upwards direction, we can jump the hour hand forward in 1 hour increments. So when the daylight savings comes into effect, or when we roll back the clocks in the winter, you can make easy adjustments via the hour hand without upsetting the time telling of the watch. Remember though, every time you pass midnight with the hour hand, the date will progress by 1 day. So if it does so, and you're out of sync, by turning the crown anti-clockwise, you can bring the date back into alignment. As we stand here now, we're set up accurately, coming up towards 10:50 in the morning. It's the 21st, everything's aligned. What we need to do now is make sure we reseal the watch via the screw down crown to ensure it's 200 metres of water resistance. Push the crown fully home so that it's back to position 0 or the neutral position, and whilst applying a little inwards pressure, start to turn the crown in a clockwise direction. This will catch the thread. 4 or 5 turns of the crown, you'll feel the crown lock up against the case. Please don't over tighten it, it just needs a little nip up against the crown, and then we're fully sealed as well. So there we have it. That's everything you need to know to get your Supersede Date up and running, telling the time and date accurately, and you know a little bit of the technical specifications. We've got a concierge team all around the world. You can reach out to them if you have any questions. If you want to see any of the other watches within the HORAGE range, please do so. At the end of this video, you'll see a QR code. Simply scan it with your phone, that'll open up your WhatsApp, and you can communicate with a HORAGE Global Concierge service. You can of course also check out our website, www.horage.com, where you can see all of our watches. You can email us, lostintime@horage.com, if you have any questions. Thanks very much, I hope you've enjoyed this video.